President Trump pummeling his Attorney General Jeff Sessions yet again today. This comes after the embattled AG pushed back against Trump's criticism, defending his performance at the DOJ and vowing not to be influenced by political considerations. Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry joins us with the latest on the heated feud. What's going on, Ed?
Well, good to see you, Jesse. You know, the war of words, and I hear Greg there booing me. That's interesting. It's really intensifying because it's not really new for the president to punch the Attorney General. What's surprising is Jeff Sessions decided to fire back and may just be counter-punching his way out of a job. The feud has been getting ugly for some time, with the president tweeting last year the Attorney General was beleaguered, and then tweeting earlier this month that Sessions was, quote-unquote, missing in action on Democratic scandals like the Clinton email probe. But the spat appeared to escalate Wednesday. The president's interview with Fox's Ainsley Earhardt, where he didn't just take another swing at Sessions for letting James Comey and others off the hook, he questioned his manhood. Sessions, listen to this.
Are very strong in the Justice Department. I put an Attorney General that never took control of the Justice Department, Jeff Sessions, never took control of the Justice Department. He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this?
Now, Sessions usually ignores those punches, but yesterday he decided to try and brush the president back with a statement claiming he took control of justice on day one and adding, quote, while I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. This afternoon, former Sessions spokesman Ian Pryor told me the Attorney General responded this time because the president's words were more powerful on camera rather than just tweets, and I pressed him on answering the president's complaint about why his friends are facing indictments and criminal charges, while on the Democratic side, the Justice Department appears to be laying off.
Under this Department of Justice, they are not going to talk about ongoing investigations, publicly or in any other way. So we don't know what they're investigating, what they're looking at. Beyond that, there needs to be enough evidence for a grand jury to indict somebody.
Now, Republican Lindsey Graham says that Sessions should not be ousted before the midterms when you've got Brett Kavanaugh's nomination and other matters to deal with. But Graham said change may be coming after the midterms. And the president a few hours ago tweeted out reaction to Sessions' statement saying, Jeff, that's great that all of a sudden you don't want political considerations. Go after some of the Democratic scandals. That's the president's message.
All right, Ed, thanks. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Well, it looks like he's just trying to browbeat the Attorney General into resigning, but I don't think Sessions is getting the message.
No, they're like Ross and Rachel on Friends. You know, they fight, they break up, but you know what? I really think they belong together because I think there's some chemistry. They fight in public, which makes it uncomfortable for all of us. And God help you if you take a side, because then they'll both turn against you. That happens whenever a couple fights. Here's my problem with this, is that I'm not a fan of office politics. My concern is that, you know, it's a distraction from serious matters. We just saw an ISIS audio released and in which it's like maybe al-Baghdadi might not be dead, talking about current events. So we're obsessing over parlor intrigue and payoffs to porn stars. And our enemies are reloading. They work 24/7 while we sit and we get distracted, and they're waiting for the right time. Our media is distracted. We're kind of distracted. We're complacent, and we're complacent in large part because President Trump and our military made ISIS feel like a distant memory, so they're not around anymore. So we can have fun with this stuff, but I'm a little worried because I'm a neurotic freak.
Hear, hear.
Yes.
You'll be the one who's right.
Katie, I do understand the president's frustration with his Attorney General, and he explained it pretty specifically here. He says deleted Clinton emails, Comey lies and leaks, Mueller conflicts, McCabe, Strzok, Page, Bruce and Nellie Orr, FISA abuse, Chris Steele and the dossier, the Clinton Foundation surveillance, Dem collusion,
etc., etc.
You get his frustration because it looks like he's being railroaded by all these investigations. Yet on the other hand, his political enemies, who he believes have done a lot of wrong things, are getting off scot-free.
Well, I think it's frustrating from administration to administration when you see scandal happen in the Obama administration, for example. Typically, when a new administration comes in, the next DOJ kind of closes the door on what happened and tries to move on. Now, whether that's because they don't want to look into that because they have their own problems with their own is one question. But politically, this is not a good situation for the president. It's going to be very difficult to confirm someone who's as conservative as Jeff Sessions on these issues. And when it comes to what Sessions said when he fought back against what the president said, he focused on other issues outside of what the president's complaining about. I've been working on violent crime. I've been working on terrorism. I've been working on your one huge campaign issue, which is illegal immigration. So if you don't want someone who's going to be doing all those things, good luck, because it's going to be very difficult to find someone who's willing to go to the mat on those issues at the Justice Department.
There was a silver lining, though.
Yes.
There was a silver lining.
Wait, there's you.
When
There's a good picture of you in between.
Oh, yeah. Tell us what that conversation
back to
was
that
like when there were no cameras.
Yeah, I'm sitting between the two gentlemen. But I will tell you, the silver lining that I saw in this was when Jeff Sessions' spokesperson said they're investigating things that we're not going to know about. So
Right.
I hope they're going after McCabe. That guy can't ride off in the sunset. They should be going after Strzok, who got fired. They should be going after Lisa Page. What they did was apprehensible. It was horrible. They should be going after Bruce Orr with all the fusion
Clinton
GPS.
Foundation.
Of course, Clinton Foundation. So I'm hoping that they are doing their job, and really we shouldn't know about it if they are.
As well as FISA abuse. But as I said yesterday, Juan, I think if Sessions gets too involved in doing the president's bidding or going after some of the president's political enemies, regardless of not whether they did corrupt things, it's going to create the appearance of obstruction of justice because you have this ongoing Mueller investigation. So he feels like he's in a bind, probably.
You're a wise man, Jesse.
Thank you, Juan. All right, Greg, what else?
But Jesse, let me just say, in keeping with that laundry list that you had before, it sounds like you're, lock her up, lock her up. This is a Trump rally? What's
I don't
going
want
on
Clinton
here?
locked up. I want her to run
This
again.
is, well, fine. But I mean, this is, first of all the things that you listed have been investigated. All the people you
By
listed.
who, Juan?
Oh, by the Justice Department.
Who's Justice Department?
Oh, I see. And
Who's Justice
I see.
Department?
And Jim Comey and all those people. Oh, I see. And the FBI now is not run by a Republican. The head of the Justice Department, not a Republican. The deputy attorney general, not a Republican. These are Republicans, and you guys still are attacking your own.
It's hard to believe they're Republicans.
Well,
when you see what's
that's what
going on in the Justice
other
Department
words,
and the
unless
FBI.
you're a Trumpian, or is that how you say it? A Trumpian?
Say what you want.
Okay, unless you're a trumpeter.
Don't say that.
Don't say that one. Okay, unless you're a Trump acolyte.
Sure.
Then you can't. You're not allowed in the club anymore.
What about the politics of this, Greg? So if he does cut Sessions loose before the midterms, it creates an impossible scenario to reconfirm. But let's just say they keep the Senate, and so they have the majority. I could see him replacing Sessions in December and having him be confirmed or the new person confirmed in January.
I don't know. Again, I can't. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know if he stays or he goes. I kind of like Sessions. Seems like a nice guy. Met him once. Had dinner with him.
Too nice.
Too nice, maybe. But, there's never been a more transparent administration. He castigates his staff publicly, which is unusual, but he's the least deceptive president I've ever seen. Yeah. We know about all this stuff. The interesting part about this story, none of this ever would have happened if Trump didn't win. And we know that Trump wasn't supposed to win. And so he set off all sorts of punishment from all sides.
He did.
And it's like, and you have to ask yourself, if Hillary had won, would you have seen the same kind of investigations about her corruption? The dossier story is way, way, way worse than anything Trump's done. I mean, come on. Worse than a meeting.
This is craziness.
The dossier.
It's horrible.
How was that paid
Let me
for?
just stay away from the conspiracies. I'll say this.
Okay, let's talk
that
about
if there is someone that President Trump has in mind to replace Attorney General Sessions, it would have to be someone who would agree to fire Mueller, right? It would have to be someone who would agree to attack the Democrats. So it would be totally a political move. Our law enforcement, our top law enforcement organization, the Justice Department of the United States, would be totally politicized.
Unlike Eric Holder.
Undermining faith in the law enforcement community in this country to an extent that I think we've never gone before.
Eric Holder undermined the
I don't think so at all.
a long time ago.
You know
But
what?
I do want
you
to
have
say,
a 51-49 Republican majority in the Senate, Katie. I don't think, given what Susan Collins said today, what John Cornyn said today, that there's any chance.
I actually agree with that.
That there's any chance that the Senate would confirm a new attorney general.
I actually agree with maybe right now, but the man who's in charge of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, last year was saying we don't have time on the docket to deal with this right now, but he did open the door to having some time maybe later on in the year. That's a big question. I do want to say though, when, I covered Obama administration scandals, and nobody was ever fired for anything. So the idea that Peter Strzok did get fired, that Andrew McCabe got fired, and it may have taken a little longer, but because of the bureaucracy and the rules around labor laws in the federal government, there is a process they have to go through. I do think it actually says a lot about being able to get those guys fired. And I think that Christopher Wray should get credit for that.
Thank you.
And in the commercial break, Pam is going to tell us the conversation the president had across from her with Jeff Sessions.
Hot mic.
And it better be good.